So over the weekend, I went to a bunch of different thrift stores and I got a bunch of stuff that I'm going to be listing on eBay. I'm going to be breaking this video up into 3 different parts. First, I'm going to show you some of the things that I got over the weekend, what I got them for, what I plan to list them for, why I chose to buy them, what I think my margin on them will be, etc. Second, I will be showing you some stuff that I recently listed that I just think is interesting that might be helpful for you in some kind of way. And then last, I'll show some recent sales over the past month or two again that I think are interesting and that might be helpful to you in some kind of way. So on that note, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to click like and subscribe below as well. And let's get started. This is Bonobos. It's the Slim Fit, a size 42. Generally, I find Bonobos blazers sell somewhere in like the 55 to 75 range, so I am okay paying $15 for that. Now next up are these dress shoes, and I believe these are a crocodile dress shoe. They are made by Mezlan. They are from Spain. Generally, I think new, these are at least a few $100s. In used condition, pre-owned, I saw that they were selling somewhere in like, I'm going to give a wide range, but I'll say like 50 to 150 range. And these ones, I don't think I'm going to get that much, because if you look, even if once I like use a little bit of leather polish on this, I'm not going to like put a ton of energy into trying to fix this. But these definitely do have flaws. So I'm probably going to list them at around 75. And I paid $15 for these. You know, my thought is if I can get $45, $50 for these at minimum, then I'll be in a good place. So I'll throw them up probably maybe $79.95, which will be under market. I'll make sure that I communicate the flaws. Anybody who works well with leather would be able to clean these up pretty easily, in my opinion, other than maybe a little bit of the wear on the heel, but that's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to throw these up for around $79.95. See what happens with offers. If it's not getting any views, then I'll drop it again. But I think at the absolute floor is I'll get around $50 for these. Now, I don't pick up a lot of Nike stuff, actually. Surprisingly, you would be like, oh, you should. And it depends. Like, one, I don't really do a lot of shoes, even though I just showed a pair of shoes. But generally, I don't really prioritize shoes. With Nike overall, I don't really prioritize the basics. This one was interesting, though. It's got the Nike. Let me see if I can show that. It says Dry Fit ADV on it. I believe that this is a runner's quarter zip, and I think with that gradient and it being just a nice color, and it's a good size as well. It's a solid size. It's a size large. I got this for $15. At minimum, I'll get $40. I'll probably list this for $50. No, because I think they were selling new for around $60. So I'll probably list this at like $49.95 and expect to sell it somewhere in like the $40 to $45 range. So this is a brand called Cricket, and I've mainly sold their polos. I've also sold corduroys from them. I believe their polos sell for somewhere in the $25 to $35 range, and with a great sell-through. If I remember correctly, these are also made with Pima cotton. This one is a Pima cotton blend, and I paid, what did I pay for this? I paid $9 for this. So with that selling roughly in the 25 to 35 range, I'm okay with that. It's not as great a margin as I would like to, but I'm okay with that. And another one, this one is a nice blue. So this is a pair of Levi's. It's a pair of corduroy Levi's. It's got a white tab. They're older. I don't know exactly how old. It says made in Great Britain. These are probably sometime in the 80s, but I could be wrong. I'm just going to put a question mark on these right now, but I knew that at $8.99 I wasn't going to go wrong with these. These are just a pretty cool pair of Levi's. The corduroys always do well. So this is a brand called Duer, D-U--E-R. The inside tag looks like that. These are a pair of green 5-pocket chino with a little bit of stretch to them pants. I paid $8.99 for these, and these will sell somewhere in the $25 to $35 range. Another pair of jeans. These ones are a bit style specific. This is a brand called Mugsy jeans. This is the Lake Shores I've looked up some Mugsy jeans and some sell well and some don't. They're kind of a modern, stretchy jean. These, if I remember correctly, were selling somewhere in the 30 to 40 range, and I got them for $12.99. So this first item over here, this is a blazer. It's a Nordstrom blazer, which doesn't really mean anything. They make good quality stuff, but on the secondary market, the Nordstrom label on its own doesn't hold extreme value. However, this was a one made with Loro Piana wool. So if you see this tag, Loro Piana, it's come down a little bit, but it is something to keep in mind when you're looking at blazers, that if you see this and it's anywhere less than maybe 20 bucks, 15, 20 bucks, it's going to be worth it for you to buy. This is actually one of the less ideal options. This is the worsted camel hair. I have one in this color, and then I have one, I think, a size 42 in like a brownish beige color. If you see something that is actually made directly by Loro Piana rather than just with their material, then generally speaking, you're in a good position. But if you see something like this where it's a Nordstrom blazer made with Loro Piana wool, the value is not extreme, but I probably paid 12 to 15 bucks for this. I'd have to check. I listed this a few days ago. I expect that this is going to sell probably somewhere in the 40 to 45 range. This is actually from a website called Huckberry. Now the brand is Wills right over here. Let's take a look at the tag. Now Huckberry, I'm not going to pull up the website, but Huckberry is a curated website for a lot of new men's brands. And overall, they have extremely high quality thresholds that they have on their site. So Wills is an example. This is the first time I found Wills, but I remember when I was going through the tag, I was looking at it. I saw that it was a linen blend. It felt good. The material felt good. So I looked it up, and I saw that a lot of the items that were selling had this Huckberry keyword on them. And so it's something that you want to keep in mind, that if you're looking at some of the comps and you see this, it's just basically people referencing the website, but it is a strong keyword. This, I probably have it priced a little bit high. I think it's been listed for a little bit over a month, so I'm probably going to do a price drop sometime soon here. But overall, pretty decent quality. I have it listed for $49.95. I'm guessing it'll sell for $35 or something, and I probably paid $8 or $9 for it at Goodwill. Next up is back to the blazers. This is one called Harris Tweed. Now it might sometimes have another brand tag on it, but you're looking for this tag right over here. So this is a Scottish wool. I don't know too much about it. I do know that it is in very high demand. The sell-through overall is not as strong as I remember it being. I think it was closer to 50% and maybe on the wrong side of that, than it was to 100%. However, every single time that I've listed these, they've sold fairly quickly, and they've gotten a lot of visibility. And so this is something where I would recommend keeping an eye out for this tag. If you're looking through tweed blazers, this is one of the better ones that you'll find in an average thrift store. This one I did price aggressively. I think that because this has some of the burgundy color to it, that was a keyword where there was not a lot of listings, and the sell-through was pretty high. I think there was like 7 listed and maybe like somewhere in the same range sold using burgundy as a keyword. And so for me, I thought that it made sense for me to price it a little bit more because it's a very specific buyer there. If you just had something basic, I would probably be listing this maybe closer to $79.95 instead of the $99.95 that I've listed here. And I would expect that you would get maybe $65 for it, and that's around where they've sold for me in the past. Next up, so this is a brand called Roosevelt's, and I've only seen shirts from them. This is the first time that I found a shirt that looks like this. It is definitely a synthetic material Hawaiian shirt, which generally I don't pay much attention to, but I knew of this brand, the Roosevelt's, RSVLTS. It'll be in all caps. Here's what the tag looks like, and then also there was this on it as well. And apparently the Roosevelt's Kunu Flex is their kind of breathable Hawaiian shirt material. Within listing this, I had 2 or 3 watchers within 15 to 20 minutes. I think I listed this yesterday. I could have listed this maybe 10 or 15 bucks higher. I listed it at $39.95. I think I got it for $7. So I'm perfectly okay with that. I'd rather it move quickly rather than having it just sit there because I mispriced it a little bit trying to squeeze out. And that leads to a really good example of the next listing, which is one of the sales, actually. So we'll get back to this in a second, but I will say that I did misprice this one, and I'll explain how in just a second once I finish going through some of the rest of the things that are left in my listing pile. Next up is a brand called Carbon to Cobalt. Now, I don't buy everything from them because it can be very hit or miss, especially with their basics. However, this is a linen blend. It's kind of got a little bit of a gray-blue gradient on it. Just a nice short sleeve button-down linen blend shirt, perfect for summer. I paid $9 for it, and I would list it for probably $29.95 and expect to get somewhere in like the $22 to $24 range. Next up is a brand called Bee Dratty, and this actually has an embroidery on it for a place called Pine Valley. And Bee Dratty is a men's golf brand. I believe they mainly make polos and quarter zip. Oftentimes people think an embroidery can be a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a great thing. I forget exactly which location it was, but I had a polo with an embroidery on it and I listed it, saw exactly what location it was, and then included that, and it sold the same exact day just because of that. So some golf clubs, especially golf clubs, can add value, some won't. So you just really, what you want to do is, if you're looking it up, I looked up like Pine Valley Golf Polo, not even including the brand, and I just compared the sell-through. If there's a fair amount of them listed, if there's a relatively reasonable amount of them that have sold, if there's some sales volume going on there, I'll pick it up. If not, I just don't. I don't need to know anything about the golf course and how popular it is for me to actually sell it successfully. I just need to know how to identify it. Next up, this is a brand called J. Lindbergh. A little bit hit or miss with this brand. This is one of their performance polos. I think this will sell, I'll probably list it at $29.95. It'll sell $25. I believe it would be in the $25, maybe at most $35 range. And the $35, you would be sitting on it for longer. This is, if you've seen this guy actually, this little guy. Have you seen this guy? This is Smartwool. I'm very tempted to keep this. This is a performance merino wool crew neck. Smartwool will have the little guy on the sleeve over there. They'll have a couple little dots like that. Really, really high quality stuff. And I know I'm saying that I'm going to list it, but there's a very strong possibility this never ends up on eBay. And I paid $9.99 for that, which is an amazing price. And if I wanted to sell it, I could list it for $40. If I wanted it to sell same day, I would list it for $35, $40. If I wanted to get a few extra bucks on it, I'd probably list it a little bit higher than that. Sans Soleil. So this is a performance material quarter zip, but the good thing about these is that they also are UPF 50 plus. Bolder designs will do better. I've had some like Argyle ones, but it also has like the breathable mesh on the sleeve. Something like this as a basic would probably be $25, and I believe that I paid $8 for it. Now it might be hard to see on this one, but this is a brand called Built, and this is their executive polo with a bunch of roses and flowers all over it. This is kind of actually one of the first times that I've seen a patterned shirt from them, and I paid $6.99 for it, so even if I list it for $29.95, I'm still happy with that. Now, Built will often have the screen printed logo on the inside, but then they also have this tag. This is Built. This is the Vista long sleeve button down. It's a nice kind of dark green army long sleeve button down shirt, performance stretch material. Might be a little bit hard to see this, but this is a brand called Rowback, and you are looking for that little dog guy right over there. They'll often also have something on the back like that. This is a woman's medium. It's got this big houndstooth pattern all over it. Green houndstooth, green-white houndstooth, performance quarter zip. I paid $7.99 for that. This will goes somewhere in the 40 to 60 range. And then last up, this is a pair of Peter Millar khaki 5-pocket pants. Oftentimes they're 5 pockets. I think come in 2 different ways. So this is a more of like a chino khaki material, like a cotton pant. And the other one is their EB66, which is more of a performance material, but it's also a 5-pocket pant. The EB66 is a great seller. It's definitely one you want to keep an eye out for. And this one I can imagine sells just as well or almost as well. So the EB66 new, they go roughly around $80 on eBay, and then used somewhere in the 35 to 50 range. This is the EB39, and this, or like the ME0B39, something like that. And I think these will go somewhere in the $30 to $40 range. Now, I know I told you that I would show you this Brooks Brothers merino wool sweater that I recently sold, and I told you that I had mispriced it a little bit. And so the reason why is because I listed this on April 22nd, and it was getting views, but it wasn't really getting watchers, which is always an interesting thing to me, because it's like, yes, people are looking at it, but for whatever reason, they're not. This is new with tags. I originally had it priced for $59.95, expecting that I'll send an offer out at like $47.50 or $52 or something like that. It wasn't selling. I sent out a few offers, but I dropped it to $49.95, and it sold probably within 48 hours for full price. Next up, this is a brand called Dixon, with 2 X's. They mainly make flannels. I've also found more performance material short sleeve shirts from them recently. But they mainly make flannels. They used to have an amazing sell-through rate. They used to sell for $60-$70 used. They've made a lot of them. Like, I go on Facebook Marketplace and I see people with whole stacks of them. I think there's kind of a collector community around the different styles. This one is the Fun Haver, and it was a blue plaid flannel. I listed it for $49.95. It sold full price same day or maybe the next morning. So this over here is a UFC hoodie. It says UFC on it, and it is also with, I think it's a brand called Venom, because I've also seen the Venom logo, VENUM, on boxing shoes. And I listed this on May 3rd. It sold May 19th. It took about 2 weeks. This is a pair of massive MASSIF tactical pants, combat pants. Design on this is multicam. Learning different military designs is definitely worth it. The design is not what sold it on this, just the fact that they are a combat tactical pants. And you'll see that because they'll have a space for a knee pad. They might have some extra pockets on the bottom part of the leg, and there will be a surprisingly amount of pockets on the top part as well. These, I listed them on April 30th for $79.95. They sold May 16th for $60. Next up, Alpine Stars. I believe I sold these for $60. I had them listed for $89.95. This is Alpine Stars Black Label. These are the motorcycle riding pants, some padding or armor on the knees. They sold, I listed them April 22nd. They sold May 9th. I got $60 for them. I think I paid $20 for them, or maybe even $25. I just talked about this. These are the Peter Millar EB66 performance pants. And so these are a light blue. These actually got returned and then sold again the second that I relisted them. I sold them for $39.95. I definitely could have listed them for a little bit more. Also, with them being a light blue and having been returned, I think I just dropped the price so that they would be gone. And similarly over here, this is the Peter Millar. This is the Summer Excursionist Blazer. There will be a tag on the inside saying that. And this is a cotton cashmere silk blazer. Kind of similar situation, actually. This sold. Somebody said it didn't fit them. They returned it. I have free 30-day domestic returns, and you should too. I refunded them after I checked the condition. I relisted it, and it sold same afternoon full price at $89.95, when previously actually it had sold for less than that. Ariat, you should know Ariat as a brand. Keep an eye out for their cowboy boots. Keep an eye out for their jeans. Their basics, like a t-shirt or something like that, you could probably skip. These are their M4 jeans. A little bit of a weird size, men's 33 by 36. These sold pretty quick. I listed them on May 5th. They sold on May 8th for $39.95. I think I took an offer in the low 30s for these. Next up, Robert Graham. Robert Graham is a brand where the details matter. So if you find a basic Robert Graham shirt, just like let's imagine a plain blue one, or maybe even a striped one, those ones are not going to sell for that much. If you find one that has a lot of details to the pattern, then you are going to be able to command a premium on those. So this one had a geometric print, but it also had a lot of paisley on it. Paisley is a very strong keyword, kind of across the board, actually. I once found a Robert Graham shirt that it was white, but when you look closely, the whole entire thing had a whole entire paisley print over it. That sold pretty well. But this one, it's a nice loud one. This sold for probably, I have it listed for $49.95. It sold for something roughly in that range. This is a brand, I didn't really know too much about it. I just thought the material and the tag felt good and looked good. The brand is Perk. It's a men's pair of chinos. These sold, I think, same day or next day. I listed them May 1st. They sold May 2nd. I listed them for $29.95. They sold for $21. I probably paid $8 or $9 for them. Bugatti. So Bugatti is a brand that very hit or miss. One of the winners with Bugatti, I think it has a near 100% sell-through rate, is their O Cotton Tech 8-Way Stretch shirt. So if you look where it says Bugatti over here, I'm not going to zoom in more, but underneath it, it will say this, the O with the 3 O's, Cotton Tech 8-Way Stretch. This shirt has pretty much 100% sell-through rate. It sells for around $25 consistently, $20-25. You get it for anywhere from $3 to $7. You're perfectly okay with that. Interesting is worth looking up. These are a pair of crocodile 3-tone dress shoes. They're made in Spain. They're by a brand named David Eden. I initially had these listed a lot higher because I saw some ones in the style were selling for around $180 to $250. I started closer to $250, and gradually, I got these last November, and they sold in April. So gradually, I dropped the price down. I brought it down to $139. I think I got an offer in the high 70s, and I had already had it for 4 months. I was probably in them for $10 or $15. I was more than happy to accept that offer. And lastly, this is a dress shirt brand that you want to keep an eye out for. It's Turnbull and Asser. Kind of regular button-down dress shirt. If you're going through a rack of dress shirts, you can 100% miss this. It's got one of those tags that it's got written in cursive. I would definitely recommend it. These sell anywhere from $40 to $65. This one sold for $65 right when I listed it. I have another one listed at the same price, and it hasn't sold in roughly about the same amount of time. This was April 24th. It sold April 25th. And I guess the theme for this video is going to be that materials, quality, things that have some degree of uniqueness to them, like that Nike quarter zip, are all going to be things to keep an eye out for. And that's that. What do you think? Do you think I should keep this smart wool? I think so. On that note, I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. I hope that this video has been helpful for you. If you do have any questions about anything, if you think I said something incorrectly in terms of like maybe saying that a comp was wrong, or maybe you had an experience with a brand that I mentioned that was really different than what I've experienced and you think people need to be aware of that, feel free to drop that in the comments below. And I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope that you're able to take something from this the next time that you're out, and that you're able to grow your sales, get more profits, and build a beautiful life. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later.